Hi again. Welcome back to Little K Artistry. I am Little K and this is my little studio in my house at Little K Artistry. I want to welcome everyone here. Thank you again so much for being here. If you are a new subscriber and you're just new to finding my channel, welcome. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoy what you see here and I hope you will subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you are a returning subscriber watching another video, thank you so much for coming back. You don't know what that means to me. It's just so rewarding to know that you have found something enjoyable, entertaining, educational, whatever it is, that you've decided to come back and watch more. I really appreciate you so much for doing that. Thank you so much for your comments and for sharing and just everything. It's just been overwhelming. We're close to 2,000 subscribers now, and I could not have imagined this going as well as it has. Having said that, are there some naysayers? Yes, there are. There are always going to be people out there who are not happy. And if you have watched any of my recent videos, you will know that I have taken to reading lots of books lately. I am interested in both reading and listening. I finally found a hearing device that allows me to hear quite well, actually, because I do have a hearing impairment. And I have found I don't know what you call it, an earbud, but it goes around my ear and just sits there and it works really well. And I'm actually able to listen to books as well, like while I'm working, when I'm walking, when I'm working out, and I'm enjoying them immensely. I have been listening to Stephen King's book on writing. It's really good. I'm actually listening to it a second time because my first time through I was working and I wasn't really paying attention. And one of his quotes I just love, and it seems to work very well in this setting, what I'm talking about with regard to naysayers and not being able to please people. Stephen King is quoted, or maybe he quotes someone in his book. I can't remember if it was him or if he's quoting someone. But what he said was, you can't please all of the people all the time. You can't even please all of the people some of the time. The best you can hope for is to please some of the people some of the time. And I wholeheartedly believe that to be true. So I hope that with this channel, I am pleasing some of the people some of the time, and you are getting some enjoyment. I am acutely aware that this is your time that you're sharing with me and that you can't get that time back. It's not something you can save up and spend later. When it's gone, it's gone. So I'm very appreciative when you spend a few minutes watching my videos or on my channel or listening to the educational things that I'm sharing about fluid art and my journey thus far. So I'm aware that you can't get that time back, so thank you so much for sharing some of it with me. But again, there are naysayers, and I will let you know ahead of time. This probably isn't going to be popular with some people, but that's okay because I can't please all the people all the time. I will tell you, the painting is for me, the channel is for you. It is a safe, positive, uplifting, and happy place to be. If there are comments or statements or people who come in who make that change and it's no longer safe, happy, encouraging, and upbeat, those comments are deleted. I delete them because they have no place being in an environment and on a channel which is positive, upbeat, happy, welcoming, encouraging, uplifting, and just a good, safe place to be. So if there are negative or rude comments, I delete them and then we move on. There you go. Because it's my channel and I can do that, but it's for you. What I'm doing here today is experimenting, and I want you to be a part of this. I am trying some watercolor blooms that I've really started to fall in love with. I think I'm in my watercolor phase. Some artists get in their blue periods or their dark periods. This is my watercolor period. And it is very exciting because I'm really enjoying this technique. So this technique does start out with a foundation layer of house paint. And I have not discovered a way to do this without the foundation layer of house paint, but I am working on that as well because I like to put as little paint on the canvas as possible for a whole bunch of reasons, which I won't get into right now because I want to paint and I want to show you what this looks like. I am going to be doing a blue with a yellow center, a blue bloom with a yellow center and some green leaves. If it works right, that's what will happen anyway, but you never know. You put all these blobs on the canvas and you blow them out, you spin them, and you could end up with something beautiful. Or you can end up with something that looks like butt. It's pretty butt, but it looks like butt. Anyway, so I am going to be doing that today. I'm going for a bloom. It's an abstract bloom, so it's not going to be exact, but hopefully it will be something really pretty to look at. And I'm going to be sharing with you the colors. I'll also put them down in the description below. And the pouring medium that I'm using, like I said at the beginning, is something that I'm testing. This is similar to the Shelley Bloom technique. If you want to learn the Shelley Bloom technique, I would highly recommend finding Shelley Bloom you can find on Facebook. You can find it's Fluid Art Co. You can find all her videos. She's amazing. She's like the author of this technique. She is the creator. She's fantastic, and she probably has hundreds of thousands of hours more than me in experiencing and experimenting and working this method. I am trying something a little bit different because I like to do something a little bit different. Plus, she's already done that, and she's the queen of that, and I certainly don't want to steal her thunder. So go and visit Shelley. It's Shelley Carruthers. She's wonderful, and she does the Shelley Bloom technique. A lot of the other artists that I follow have actually learned from her. She's like, they're offshoots of her. This is just something that I'm trying because I like it, and I didn't want to exactly copy what she does. So some of this pouring medium is my own, and some of it is borrowed from other artists. But I want to try and put it all together on a really pretty canvas for you today. But I'm going to pop some of the bubbles here. There are a couple of bubbles in my foundation paint. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply very small amounts of paint on this canvas. Then I'm going to blow them out and spin it. And I might have to tweak it at the end, but I don't know. So let's start with the blues. Actually, I'm going to start with the yellow. This is my custom yellow mix. It is Primary Yellow and Vermilion by Amsterdam. Primary Yellow is obviously yellow. Vermilion is an orange. And those are both by Amsterdam. See, it makes it kind of like a really deep, deep yellow. It's almost orange. And then I will tell you what I'm doing as I go. I kind of like to chat a little bit, not a lot, because I want the painting to do the talking for me. You'll see how very little paint I actually put on this canvas. It does not take a lot. This is a 14 by 14 canvas. You don't need a lot of paint. In fact, that might actually even be too much. So now I'm going to go with a Winsor blue, which is one of my favorites. Winsor blue is close to an ultramarine, but it dries very, very dark. It's so pretty. I'm going to put a little Winsor blue there, and then I'm just going to kind of go like that. Don't need much paint at all, at all, at all. Then I'm going to go with a Prussian blue. Prussian blue is almost a green blue. It's very deep. This dries nearly black. It's quite beautiful. And I'm going to squizzle it up like that. It's really playing around, just kind of make it what you want to make it. There's no set way. It's just very fun. And again, this is my therapy, so it's not going to be perfect. It doesn't have to be. Okay. That was turquoise blue. Now I'm going to start with a little bit of this green. This is also from Amsterdam, and I think this is Reflex Green from Amsterdam. And Reflex Green is very bright and super pretty. I mean, I think it's super pretty. I'm not typically a green girl, but I do like the Reflex. Just going to dribble a little bit. Not hardly any. These paints will last a very long time, which is one of the reasons why I love this technique. You can start out with just a few colors. You don't have to purchase very much at all. You can get the small tubes, and you can save some money, not have to spend a lot of money. Okay, I'm going to put a tiny bit more of that Windsor blue on the right over there, just because I really like that bright, and there's not a lot of bright blue over on this side. There we go. See, just tiny little sprinkles. Guys, if you are also a reader, if you're reading something, give a shout out and let me know what it is. That dark green was sap green, that's what I thought. So that dark green color that I put on second was sap green. So reflex green and sap green. And if you are a reader, if you love reading, if you're currently reading something, drop a note in the comments and let me know what it is you're reading or you're listening to. I'm finishing the Stephen King On Writing book, and I've started listening to the Matthew Perry book, Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. Oh, you guys. I can't talk about it because it makes me cry, but it's a really good book. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that it might be so far one of the best ones. I am reading it and I'm also listening to it. So I listen at work, and when I get home I read. I pick up where I left off. Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing. It's both happy and sad. It's a beautiful struggle, and he was such an extraordinary person that the world is missing a beautiful soul when he passed. But I do recommend it. It's very good. So what I'm going to do now, I've just sprinkled this out here, and we're going to see what happens when I blow this out. I don't know. It might be terrible. It might look great. It might look horrible. I'm going to put a little bit more of this black on the other side, though, because I realized I only put it on one side of the yellow. Okay. All right, so I'm going to blow this out. We'll see what happens. I'm going for a watercolor look. I'm going to put this on high, and it is already on the cool setting. So let's see. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm liking it. Not what I was anticipating. But I am liking it. What do you guys think so far? You never really know what's going to happen with this method. I mean, it could be like you blow it out and go, ew, which I have done many times. I get to a point and I'm just not feeling it. And I feel like it makes more sense to just scrape it off, put that in a bucket, start over. I have done that many times, especially when I was practicing and learning this technique. many of the paintings that I did not see the light of day. Okay, I'm going to spin this just real quick and see what happens to the composition. Oh, that's beautiful. Wow. So it's very abstract, which is exactly what I was hoping for. Abstract bloom is the name of the game. Okay, I'll spin again. So pretty. Always just amazes me that it happens like this. This was, it's pretty much exactly as I wanted it. I wanted the yellow in the center, the green mimicking the leaves, and then the blue in the petals. I'm going to grab a little bit more of the paint just to put a little bit more in the background. I'll make sure I have enough to spin it, because there's a little bit on the corners. The corners, when I do this on a square canvas, the corners always drive me insane because they're never quite right. The paint doesn't quite get there. Okay, now we spin it. Let's see. There we go. That's all we needed, a little more paint on the corners. Okay. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is pretty. I like it. I really like it. So I'm gonna just mess with the edges a little bit to make sure that I've got it covered all around here, because there are some spots that didn't get paint on them. So I want to hear from you. If you guys are reading, I don't know how many of you out there are readers. If you're reading something good, let me know what it is. I have started my daughter and I have started a book group, and we've read a number of books. They've been quite good. The next one that we're starting, we haven't quite started yet, is a Stephen King book, because I just read his book on writing, and now I'm like, now I want to read one of his books. And so we're reading The Stand, which is an immense book, but I'm very excited to. I think I read it once when I was a kid, when I was younger, when it first came out. Okay, so I am going to tweak this a little bit. Not a lot. It doesn't need a lot. I just like to break up the lines a little bit. Though I don't need to break up very many of them. It's looking really good the way that it is. I don't like to have all those stiff lines. Don't need to do a lot to it. It's really kind of perfect. I mean, I think it might not. I will bring you in for a close-up when I get done. It's just about finished. I do have a couple of texture pieces that I'm working on. I'll be revealing those soon. There's a little bit of gray over there. I just don't want that to... There we go. Okay. What do you think? Now, I did not put hardly any paint on this canvas, yet the composition has stretched off of the canvas. So if I'd wanted to, I could probably have used a 20-inch, or even, this is a 24-inch round spinner. I could have even used a 24-inch round with that much paint, and it still would have worked. You'd have more negative space out here, but the design would have come out further, obviously, because it's coming off of the canvas in places. But I could have spun it even more and stretched it out to the edges even of a 24-inch. So I am curious to know what you all think of this one. I am loving it. I think if I were to do it again, I would put a little bit more green. Maybe blocks of green instead of just the squiggles of green to make it look a little bit more like leaves. But I am really liking it. So I'm going to come over there and take my gloves on to come over there and see if I can zoom it in without dropping my phone in the paint, so you all can take a look at the close-up. Okay. Turn that off because I always get a glare. All right, let's zoom in here and see what we can get. All right, okay, what do you guys think of that? Pretty cool. Let me see if I can scoot this over a little bit and come in a little bit closer. There, so you can see there's the yellow in the center, the green. This is not quite as much of the green as I would have wanted. And then there's all that beautiful, the dark blue is mostly up here mixed in with the black. And then there's some streaks of dark blue there as well. And that bright blue. And I love that there's a tiny little bit of that green that's peeking up in the yellow. I do like this a lot. Okay, so this is a version of a bloom. Obviously it's an abstract bloom. Doesn't actually look like a flower, but it's close. It's a bloom. Okay, I'll come back around there. Come back this way. Okay, so I am eager to hear what you all think. I have done, so this one is the on camera talking you through it, showing you all the colors and how I lay them out. And then I have several of them. I think I did 3 in a series back to back. They had more pinks and purples in them. And I did those on 20-inch rounds. So I will be sharing those in the next few videos, but I kind of wanted to talk you through. Those just have music. There's no talking in them. And they're a little bit closer up, so you can see how I actually put the paints on the canvas close up. So this is kind of the first one to introduce you into this watercolor style. And then I will share the next 3 following videos that show the close-ups so that you can see how it's done. I hope that you enjoyed this if you want to give it a try. This will be the next pouring medium mix that I will be releasing. The first one I did way back was my foggy pour, and then the most recent one was the Dutch Bloom pouring mix that I did, and that's back in video, I think it was 150. You can see that one. And then the cloudy mix, the foggy mix was that back in video 65 if you wanted to watch and see the cloudy mix. And then this one, I will be unveiling the mix that I use for this, and I'll be unveiling this one in a week or two once I get these practice videos done, so you can see what it actually looks like on the canvas. Until then, I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for spending a few minutes with me today, and I hope that you enjoyed our time together. I know that I did. This is my therapy, so another session in the bag. I appreciate you being with me. Thank you so much, and I appreciate if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Share this, encourage others to subscribe. I just want to share this with the world so that anyone who's interested in learning or just watching how art is made can enjoy the channel as well. Thank you again. Thank you for subscribing and for your comments. I look forward to hearing from you. And again, this is Little K at Little K Artistry, reminding you to just go make the art.